Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series on the backgrounds in the brand new Player's Handbook. These have been expanded since the old days of the 2014 Player's Handbook, and rather than simply being a flavor choice that adds a bit of skills and maybe some tools or languages, now they are a core mechanical piece of your origin. They help determine your ability scores, your origin feat, as well as some skills and tool proficiencies that you're going to use to round out your characters. So it's just been buffed up compared to what it used to be. Today we're talking about something that wasn't in the old Player's Handbook. In fact, this background is brand new to 5e in general, the farmer. Yes, the humble man that toils the land, or the humble woman who works with her animals and works with the fields. There's a lot to be said about agriculture in fantasy settings. I mean, the cities aren't as big as the ones we have here, but they also don't have the technology of farming. So the idea that farmers are everywhere, growing crops and raising animals for the major cities of the world is a very real thing. But what kind of mechanical benefit does it have to have been a farmer before you were an adventurer? We'll get into the details of that in just a moment. But before we do, I'd like to let you know, Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter, but also you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button just below the video down there. It's next to the subscribe button. I'd love to see you in the comments with your member badges. And if it doesn't interest you, that's totally fine too. Just watching the video, liking, subscribing, and sharing this brand new turn the page moment for D&D 5e, that's exactly what I want. I want us to share in this together. So thank you for watching my content and supporting me here on YouTube. The farmer background. All backgrounds provide you with 3 ability scores that you can choose from, and you can take a +2 and a +1 in 2 of them, or you can take a +1 to all 3. That's up to you. The farmer, not a surprising mixture here. You've got strength, you've got constitution, and you've got wisdom. Now, obviously, constitution is something everybody wants, and I think that that's a solid thing to include in any background. Wisdom is the mid-tier of the casting stats, applying to 3 out of the casters. But also, it's great for skill challenges, perception, insight, all sorts of stuff is tied to your wisdom. And strength is what you want if you're any kind of martial fighter. Fighters, barbarians, paladins, rangers, and clerics love it too. There's a lot of people who really, really dig having strength. Obviously, you're not getting a whole lot here if you're a dexterity or a charisma-based character. I consider those the top tier stats, but you're still getting quite a bit from con and the other 2. Lots of builds you can do here. I'm going to give this 8 out of 10. I think that you could certainly do worse. Then you get a feat. The origin feats are applicable to all the backgrounds, and this feat is the tough feat. And this is basically unchanged from the old Player's Handbook. Every time you level up, you get an extra 2 hit points on your character, which means, of course, that if you are a barbarian with maximum constitution somehow, and you're a dwarf, this means that you're going to be getting, what is that, like an extra 12 or 13 hit points every single level? There are ways to min-max this, but just adding 2 extra HP is a big deal, especially if you're playing one of the squishier classes. A cleric that does this with their wisdom, strength, and con is going to have the same kind of hit points that a barbarian would, in theory. And yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff with the tough feat. It's never a bad one to take, and I say that's 9 out of 10. Then their skill proficiencies match the theme, for sure: animal handling and nature. Animal handling makes sense for a farmer, but it's not the sort of thing you're going to run into much as an adventurer unless you have pets and steeds, so maybe a Beastmaster Ranger would like this. But other than that, you're not going to see much use for it. And then the nature skill is okay. It's one of the intelligence-based skills, so you learn things about the natural world and the animals within it. But again, you're not going to have a whole lot of use for it unless you are a high intelligence character, like a wizard, and the farmer doesn't get a boost to that. So I think these skills are a little bit mechanically misplaced, and I'm going to give them 6 out of 10 each. Finally, you get proficiency in carpenter's tools. Carpenter's tools, once again, make sense for the background, no questions asked. Mechanically speaking, they're decent. They let you, do all sorts of stuff with woodworking or with, construction that's made out of wood, wooden buildings. You can even potentially use it to modify weapons or structures. There's a lot you could do with that, but it is still one of those niche things that you have to be around a wooden area or an area that mostly builds out of wood instead of stone or metal. So, more rural based skills. I'd say 7 out of 10 for that. Overall, The Farmer is a fun story to tell for sure. The idea that you grew up tending the fields and then adventure called. I mean, how many times have we seen that in fantasy? So many stories have been told about the farmer that took up arms to save his country or his family or whatever. And it's inspiring. If that's the story you want to tell, you should play this background. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't. But mechanically, there's a bit here to be desired. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. There are certainly worse and better backgrounds you could take, and if you are building a cleric or a barbarian or something that uses their wisdom, strength, and constitution, or just someone who needs a bit of extra hit points, yeah, this is fine. Just, there's a lot here that a lot of classes in the game that just won't get any benefit from this, unfortunately. So yeah, I say overall 7 out of 10. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more background reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.